I don't think it's gonna work. I mean, we could try. This works. Nice. So, I think I'm good. Headshots, how you doing? And welcome back, day 23 of the Need for Speed Marathon. This is your comfort game? Really? Why? Alright, I'm in the mood for the Eclipse. How about you guys? Are you even trying to avoid the wall? Or me, for that case? Probably not, as the handling had a massive overhaul as well. This plays a lot more like Most Wanted now. I'm actually pretty happy that they managed to completely remove this weird motion blur effect that you had on the edges of the screen. Motherfucker! How the hell do you drive so bad? By the way, who's giving Undercover another chance with this mod? Already has. Here's what I can tell you. Absolutely hated Undercover with a passion for the longest time. Like, it needed this and similar mods to fix the game before I would even want to touch it. Like, it's a mix of the graphics being awful and the handling being awful. The game was still frustrating. Well, the base game still remains the base game. But I think with the handling fixed, the frustration levels go way down. Yeah, this is the mod that makes the game good. It doesn't make it great, but it makes it good. I'd say it elevates the game's rating by 10 to 20%. Let's see if it was a good idea to take a muscle car for a change. But yeah, with all of the fixes from this mod, this game feels so much better to me. I quite like the muscle car choice though, it was quite quick. Whoa! Alright. We're still in first, we can win the race. I wanted to avoid the idiots on the right, just to drive into the idiots on the left. Now it's working. Dude, it was the D-pad. Wow, it was actually the D-pad. I didn't know controllers worked this way. I didn't know that the D-pad on the controllers are actually that sensitive. I actually thought the D-pad only gets triggered when you press the button. So just the movement from the button existing was messing around with me earlier. It was the wiggling of the D-pad that fucked everything up. Because I turned the dead zone to 0, but I didn't know that the D-pad can even do this. Ubisoft is also in such a bad situation right now that I saw an article today that Tencent wants to buy them out. Oh boy. I mean, let's be honest here. Like, if you keep making shitty games over a prolonged period of time, especially as a publisher, not just one franchise but everything, then yeah, at some point you're gonna have to pay the price. Stock is gonna tank, gamers are gonna leave, that kind of shit. You know, for me, in the foreground of any failed publisher is always shitty games. Like, you know, sure, maybe the CEO messed up, but the CEO is only the top level of management, you know. But to be fair, the CEO probably also appointed the other managers below him, so the nice group efforts to tank a company. Also, I read an official mention that, you know, oh, Star Wars isn't doing so well because gamers want better games. Basically, right? They said, well, if you just bring out a good game that's not good enough, it has to be a great game. Well, people don't play it. Then don't make shitty games! How hard can it be? Yeah, Lisa's definitely a beard guy. You mentioned Lisa doesn't like it. Yeah, she absolutely hates it. One user in the chat was like, I bet you didn't get laid since you shaved. And I was like, fuck you, man. The attraction is gone. You still like me this way. Thanks, man. Game of the Year being some medieval fantasy setting. I mean, I think Game of the Year should go to the game that deserves the most, but I kinda agree with, hey, how about we just get a good racing game for a change? But you know, if you change the weight on the cops to become so boring, you know, when the interaction of the cops starts going away. Oh wait, they have some weird physics, don't they? I remember from the last playthrough, we had some weird physics on the cops. The Hollywood physics. I would say Bollywood physics even. One level further, man. It's kind of crazy the difference in sense of speed. This actually feels kind of normal, right? Not too exciting. They have a pretty good overview of everything. But already in this camp, which is fairly far away. Okay, I know what I'm missing. Hey guys, Kuru here. Check out Instant Gaming for cheap game keys. Click the link in the description below. Amazing supplements. Let's go, Mad Monk. Link in the description below. But in my opinion, that's how you should do it when you make a new racing game. Like, I would also make sure that even at low speeds, the sense of speed is decent. Because I think a lot of people would just get bored out of their mind when they have to use slow starter cars. But it doesn't have to be like super expensive, but I also don't want it to be too slow. Like I don't want to be driving a 50 horsepower daily driver. So today we're using the run handling. The guy that sent me the preloaded version, or rather preset default settings. I heard to install this mod you need a specific version of the game. Like, it's not compatible with all of them. I'm not sure if it was the Steam version or like the unpatched Steam version, or maybe a specific cracked version of the game. But there was some shenanigans involved. The cutscenes look so normal. I like it a lot, actually. It also depends like where you live in Vienna. There's definitely a few more rough patches. It also depends on your job, really. Like, there's gonna be jobs where you're gonna have to deal with certain people, and then, you know, I quite like it. Lots and lots of cultural entertainment. Yeah, Undercover, and it's not complete eye cancer. Also, the handling is way better. Like, if you actually needed an enjoyable version of Undercover, that's what you want to check out. You know what I like about Undercover? It has nothing to do with drifting. Because even Black Box messed up drifting in a lot of their games. You never heard that from me? It depends on the game. There's definitely games where drifting is more fun than others. But most of the time it's either slow or awkward. That's, you know, why generally I'm not the biggest fan of drifting. I like going fast, I like having competition, you know? Just basic racing. If you put that into a nice package, it's usually quite fun. And they definitely have a weak spot now. If you touch it, they die. No! Ah, wrong button. Well, enjoy a rare busted cutscene that really does not happen too often in this game. Those cutscenes are well done, but they're also a bit overdone if you ask me. Like the way they plant your face into the ground. Ouch. I think the speedrunners actually figured out a route where they can avoid the cops. Got him. It's kind of fun finding like this point of death. It's easier to hit when you're in Speedbreaker. And thanks for watching the YouTube videos. I always tell people, you know, in order to grow a Twitch channel, you want to have a good YouTube channel. That's gonna be your best chance to find new people, right? Like, I think it's extraordinarily hard. I was even up here. It's extraordinarily hard to just get natural growth on Twitch. So your natural growth usually has to come from other social media. But test drive. I had such high expectations for the game, right? Like I wanted another game to come out that people like, and TDU could not do it. I also don't think TDU is gonna make a comeback. Hey, she's cute though. You waited 14 years to play another TDU since you were a little lad. Yeah, I mean it's so sad. I feel like they have a decent game there as a base, but what's the point of an always online game where the online doesn't work, right? I don't know if that was really just an anti-piracy measure, especially since the game did get cracked. I think 5 days after the official release date. I'm more afraid that she gets mega rubber band out of nowhere. And she does! I'm actually maxing out my car right now. Wow, that was tight. That was hard to do. I mean, it's an assumption that it was an anti-piracy measure. Maybe they wanted people to incentivize to play multiplayer. But here's the thing. As I said earlier, what's the point? What's the point of an always online multiplayer if it's not working? You know, they didn't even set up the game in a way where it's easy to connect to other people, right? Like they did the same mistake that Rivals did 10 or 11 years ago, where you have to be in the same spot on the map in order to play with someone. I totally agree with. They should have just stuck to the old recipe. At the end of the day, there's nothing else to say other than they fucked up and they have not fixed it after a month. So the game is gonna stay a small niche game, in my opinion. It was kind of fun, you know, looking at the game's development in the early stages, but I did notice that the interest for the game wasn't very high because it was so single-player focused in an always online game. Like, that combination just doesn't make sense to most people, myself included. Yeah, I heard that the patch was like 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. Like, some things working, some other things are not working, and people are just pissed, annoyed, disappointed, a little bit of everything. Yeah, I also see that everything they're doing at this point is damage control, because honestly, if they wanted to release a better game, they needed to be more efficient at making the game in the first place, because they did take a very long time. The game got delayed multiple times, so they're not very fast with what they're doing. And I think they also got kind of messed up by their own game engine. Like, the Kiloton game engine is not very good. But I have a 4080 and I barely scrape 60 FPS on 1440p and Ultra. That shouldn't be the case. The game should not run that badly. Especially if you consider that it doesn't look the best either. It's just really a weak engine. But if you have a game engine that doesn't allow you for amazing graphics or high FPS, then, you know, should have been a consideration to not use the Kiloton engine in the first place. And yeah, back to the basic ass problems, right? Like, who cares about a game that forces you to be always online and then you can't even play with others? You always end up with race lobby errors or infinite loading screens. I mean, yeah, sure, maybe the game is worth $10 once it has an offline mode, you know what I mean? If that's your goal, to play the game offline. In my opinion, an offline mode would have given them a lot of time to fix the online servers. Right, most people could have enjoyed Test Drive Unlimited as they did with 1 and 2, then go online once they felt like, you know, the single player experience is complete. Yeah, most likely scenario where you get more than 60 FPS is when you turn on the frame generation feature. You know, the other thing is they mentioned, oh, we implemented frame generation 3.0, which should triple the frame rate. It's just not implemented. They said they did it in the most recent NVIDIA driver, and they didn't. Like, it's not available. It's still the same double FPS thing. Like, they didn't even implement that one. They just said they would. And they have a lot of those moments where they just said they would and they didn't. Release 1-2 months after the story mode, so they have some time to get the shit together. Yeah, but they were too afraid. In my opinion, the only real reason always online is a thing is because then you can't pirate the game. But even that didn't save them, right? The pirated version of the game actually allows you to join the official service. But yeah, most people refunded the game, gave it a negative review, and just left it forever. And I think that's gonna stay the story. They would, at this point, it has to be an absolute miracle. Like on the same level of Black Man's Sky, Dead Man's Sky, right? At this point, they really have to move heaven and earth to convince people that it's worth playing that game again. Frame generation DLSS, you had 40 FPS. Yeah, this game is not supposed to run in 4K. The thing about Assetto Corsa, it's probably gonna get a pretty, I would say, fairly large community gathering, but yeah, it is a sim racer, so I'm not sure how much potential there really is. Honestly, I have bigger hopes than the next Horizon and the next Need for Speed, but Horizon, maybe next year, next to GTA. It would kind of surprise me, but it's possible in my opinion. Because at the end of the day, they want to sell their Game Passes, right? And if they put Horizon on Game Pass, then they probably get their money's worth in regards of development. So I actually can see Horizon releasing next year, and I kind of hope it does. Because I want to play something, you know? I want to play something next year because we had 2 releases that we had this year. Honestly, they're just not doing it for me. Like, I don't see myself playing more Car X, or I don't see myself playing Car X or TDU much more. TDU, maybe. You know, I thought I would play it on stream again when the seasonal update is out, which it is right now, but it's just not good enough, right? There's like nothing there's nothing there to really get me excited. The thing is, this trick works super well. The hiding spot extends to the top, and the cops usually can't see upwards. I don't think this is gonna work. I mean, we could try. This works. Nice. That worked great. Cops in this game just feels so much less interesting than they do in Most Wanted. Gets a little bit saved by, you know, that mod that flips the cops when you hit them in the back. That makes it a bit more exciting. Dude, why are they on the wrong side? The coolest Need for Speed. Sure, man. That's exactly how I remember this game. As the coolest. KuruHS, it's actually quite good. Don't think I had too much beef with the KuruHS. I would just say, just like so many games, they're not good enough to keep my attention on a regular basis. I think that's the toughest thing for racing gamers. Like, it's extremely difficult to be like a pure racing gamer unless you are, unless you're a sim racer, because the games are not really good enough to play them over and over again. But if you're sim racing, you don't really care about the game too much, you know, as long as it gives you a realistic experience for racing. You're gonna run the same tracks over and over again anyways. I don't think I actually got busted. Yeah, I think the game bugged out hard there. Look at this. Like, it actually crashed. The game doesn't think it. The game doesn't even believe. The game doesn't even believe it itself that I got busted there. It just soft locked. Because it wasn't really busting me. That was not a bust. Because I was out of the visual range. They couldn't have busted me there. I need to come up with some new fun things as well. Because if we don't get too much entertainment out of the new games, we gotta come up with some fun stuff for the old games. We're gonna get something cool at the end of the year though. Need for Speed Carbon Online is coming, right? Which should be quite fun because I actually haven't played Carbon Online when the game was out. Gotta be kidding me, man. Me dodging this one traffic car was enough to slow me down at the end. The mod actually does make the game good. It looks better, it drives better. Those were easily the two biggest problems that I had with Undercover. Handling was god-awful and so was the visuals. And look what's possible. But the mod primarily removes the bullshit that the developers forced onto the game. Look how much better this looks. Like, I would be afraid if they would ever remake Undercover, because I don't think they would take these optimizations. Makes it 15% better. But if the game has a 0 rating, that is 0 better. Nah, in this case, it's not a multiplier, it's an addition. When you say it makes it 15% better, it's plus 15. Vanilla Undercover, Lego City Undercover. I never played that game, but I assume the Lego games are not that bad. Am I wrong about this? Lego Racers 2 was absolute trash, I remember. I loved Lego Racers 1, and once I got my hands on Lego Racers 2, I was like, what is this shit? This looks worse and plays extremely differently and not in a good way. Like, you could argue that the gameplay is more advanced. Didn't really change the fact for some reason it ran like absolute horseshit on my PC. I'm not even sure if the game can be played at above 30 FPS. But it wasn't even running at 30 FPS on my PC, so the setup was completely fucked. Because I was thinking to myself, man, I loved Lego Racers 1. That game is always worth replaying, and then played Lego Racers 2. First of all, it was really laggy, so something was wrong with the installation. But the gameplay itself, like, all of a sudden, it was like really, really, really a kid's game. You know, before that it was neutral. Before that, Lego Racers 1 was like a Mario Kart, you know, game for everyone. But Lego Racers 2 was like, here kids, here's a game for you kids. Don't forget to smile, kids. You know, Lego, did they ever get to play Lego Drone Races? I have not, no. They even had a drone Williams F1 car? Really? Didn't know there was an F1 sponsorship in that game. Yeah, the brakes upgrade. That's more important. This one, Wheelman level up. They do get experience, and every big level you unlock some major boost. And usually you advance the story. 4 GB patch on the game's exe. If that's the case, it would be great if the mod gets delivered with the patched exe. Holy shit. That landing was even more brutal. I've outplayed Cars 1, surprisingly good for a movie game. Open world and everything. It even has the original voice actors from the movie. I haven't, but I think I got it suggested before. I remember watching Cars 1 only. I haven't seen another one yet. Whoa, another? I hate this game. Another broken pursuit breaker. How's Undercover City in comparison to other Need for Speed games? I like it more than Carbon, for example. I actually do think that the way this is structured is better. The way the map is built, the way you're driving here, genuinely think it's better than Carbon. Carbon is the better game for sure, but I wouldn't say that about the map. Yeah, that's actually one of the mods, and I gotta say I kind of like it, having the ability to take out the cops. You hit the rear end on either side, and it's gonna mess up the cops. So this is not in the usual version of the game. I'm stuck on the steel beam. That was kind of lucky, man. I'm actually... I'm stranded. The one advantage that we have of not being a huge community is that chatting is a lot easier. You get to a certain size of chat and then you're not gonna be able to chat anymore, basically. I always thought these kinds of great integrations are supernatural. Right, you go back to Underground 1 or 2, you have the McDonald's and the Burger King ads like straight up billboards in the game. It doesn't get much more natural than this. The TDU trailer song, man, that was different vibes though. Let me check, when was the trailer even released? Because that's actually quite a while ago. 6 July 2021. It didn't, oh, it did have a release date, wow. They thought they could finish the game in another year of development at the time. And then it added another 2 years. Like, they extended 2 years of extra development. And I think that kind of shows that they're not as good at coding as they thought they were. If you had to delay by 2 years and people are still complaining like crazy, right? Like, do you think recent Steam opinions have changed much? Probably not, but I kind of want to see it. So we're still at 37%. Wow, it got worse. It actually got worse. I get it though. 37%. Wasn't it like 41 or something? Like, they're patching the game and the rating gets worse. So even more people are refunding and hating the game. Of course it got worse. Not necessarily because... Here's the thing. The PC version runs better than the console versions. Imagine that for a second. So there's even more disappointed people on console. An MMO with region lock and no crossplay. Yeah. Always online with not functioning multiplayer. Like, I don't think they could have made a worse version of TDU. Like, what else could they have fucked up? That's a genuine question. What do you think? What do you think they could have done worse? You know, Panther told me he started on PlayStation, but it was so bad he switched to PC. Like, he bought the game twice because they didn't send him a review key, so he bought it on PlayStation and then he bought it again on PC. Yeah, I think that generally is trying to force a certain narrative down the player's throat, even if they're not interested in it. Microtransactions, true. True, that would have been the dot on the I. The servers could have been even worse. Yeah, true. You could say that, you know, maybe after a week nobody actually ever played the game, then, you know, imagine like the 30% of those people that played single player, right? Let's be straight up honest. The 30% that actually gave the game a positive vote are the ones that are hoping that the game gets better and they could at least play single player. You saw me struggling through the game to get some gameplay out of it. I wouldn't be surprised if the game goes free to play and gets microtransactions. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. No, I think the hate is fair, Omega. The game is really that unoptimized, that bad, that flawed, that unfinished. Solar Pass relies on matchmaking experience, which is empty on region-locked servers. That Battle Pass is literally toilet paper. Oh, that explains the extra negative votes though. Like, they're introducing Season 1 and Season 1 is not working, right? Remember what they said? Oh, we're gonna fix the game before the season 1 starts. And guess what else they did? They delayed the first season, just like they delayed the game so they can fix it. You know what the craziest thing is? Nacon is actually traded on the stock market. I'm not sure if the flop of TDU is enough to short, which is the opposite of buying. Nacon stock. So since the release of the game, the stock has lost 20%. Oh boy. And probably 50% since June. Whatever that spike was here. There's gotta be some piece of news on the 3rd of June. By the dip. French companies and gaming. Yeah, the thing is, France is such a hub for game development too. Right? Like there's a lot going on in France in regards of game development. And Ubisoft wasn't always that bad. Definitely not financial advice. Yeah, Ubisoft used to be a lot better. Ubisoft is definitely a publisher that got complacent. People hating on Ghost back in the day. Well, 2015 was a piece of shit to me though. I really hated that game. I was disappointed across the board. On a similar level disappointed. Actually no, I'm more disappointed in TDU. I think TDU shit the bed even more than 2015. But yeah, 2015 had a lot of the same problems. Shit handling, which the handling's actually not that bad in TDU, gotta be honest. But 2015 also had the Always Online. And Always Online in 2015 was just as hated as it is nowadays. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that the cheating AI is an issue as well, because it's just not well done. The entire game is not well done, it's not balanced, it's not good. It is alright in the beginning, but later, the more you get into the end game, the more the opponents get unbalanced. Like, you really have a very basic TDU experience there. You will have more fun. You will have more fun replaying TDO 1 and 2. Right, there's actually some really cool mods for TDO 1 and 2 that you will enjoy a lot more than Solar Chrome, in my opinion. Handling it way better in Payback? Oh yeah, absolutely. But you know, at least these obvious things, even the Need for Speed developers understand. Right, you never saw the handling of 2015 again. You never saw the upgrading system from Payback again. TDO 2 good, yes. You gotta look out for some handling patch though. I remember I played TDU 2 with a handling patch and it made it a lot better. To this day, I have not played the OG version of TDU 2. I mean, TDU went through a lot of people as well, because I remember when TDU 2 was announced in 2021, I actually had a contact to someone directly working at Nacon, like a social media manager. And they fired him, my assumption, because I never heard from him again. So I didn't have access to anyone in TDU anymore. I couldn't get invited to the events. They also didn't invite me to the new events, and I didn't even get a gold edition review key. That was June 2020, the announcement. Did you just check earlier the trailer? Okay, oh, you mean the announcement? Yeah, I meant the TDU trailer. That was 3 years ago. And then they thought they only have another year for the game to release. But yeah, that didn't happen. And I don't think I ever had TDU to blue screen my PC, but as I said, I used the cracked community version of the game with improved handling. It's actually quite fun. Like, I wouldn't be surprised that I could pull a bigger viewership for TDU 2 nowadays. Ah, interesting. When I drive in reverse, I have a lot less grip. There was a video where the game broke my PC in 2020. Alright, so I had a blue screen too, is what he's saying? Oh, this year. I feel like Lisa could have told me a little bit more often that my hairstyle wasn't that good. I'm not sure if my head shape changed over the years, but some of my old school haircuts are hilariously bad.
Photo. Cheese.
Yeah, I think that crash is normal though. I think that crash happens on a regular basis. That during these cheese moments it breaks. Like, it crashed very often at the end of these cutscenes. Like, I was always ready to reset the game. That'd be very sneaky. Dude! Their range of vision is disgusting. Okay, they think they're following me, but they're below a level. Holy shit, what a chase, 10 minutes. Fuck muscle car. The way I was thinking about it, ooh, I wanna get a red Golf. I just had a muscle car, so we switched it up. Let's check out the PlayStation 2 version of Undercover. Yes. It's actually a very different experience, and honestly, unmodded PlayStation 2 versus PlayStation 3 version, I actually recommend the old school one. The one on the emulator runs a lot better. Whoa, that happens rarely, but it's a pretty cool moment. Make a big jump, land on car, get wrecked. Now, one of my favorite meme games is probably the run on the Wii. It's the same game on the 3DS. Damn it, go off. Stop! Ah! I think I won. Damn it! We nearly tied and I lost. 0.01 second. Too slow. Beta finally got one video. It was really good. Sadly, not as many viewers as I thought it would get. Same thing for the Need for Speed video. Like, I don't know. The second time, you know, I made a video talking about the developers, like, it wasn't that relevant to people. 16,000. But also, Ridge Racer 7 only got 14,000. Hot Pursuit 16,000. Like, YouTube is not liking me much right now, or the content I'm making. On the other hand, Underground went well. Like right now, it seems like you wanna be doing content about popular Need for Speed games only. Not all the new videos are getting recommended. I know. Like the algorithm does not push certain videos and/or games right now, from what I've seen. It pushed an ancient video from 2017 and 2021. Okay, maybe because I had like this nostalgia stream with the old setup. Like in my opinion, the algorithm takes everything you do into account. So even if I just post, let's go. If I post about having an old school stream, I wouldn't be surprised. Really? This one? Is this gonna be? No, don't make this the next meme song. Please don't. Editing was always a lot of fun to me, but it's not possible to also be the editor of my own videos and have a relationship with another person. In my opinion, at that point, you're gonna have to be a nomad. Single forever. Then you can stream and edit for yourself. But still have to worry about the stuff, right? I need to have the YouTube channel active to always find new people to add to the Twitch channel, right? Yeah, profile. I get it. I turned off the game sound because it drove me insane. Dude, I hate NPCs. They drive through the barriers. That's why that guy went for the wall, because he can drive through. 5,000 live views is extremely hard to get on Twitch. Even if you play popular games. It's gonna need a really good new game. Unless the world brings out the racing game that the mainstream actually cares about, I don't see myself getting 5,000 live viewers. Right? Like when a new racing game comes out, usually I'm actually the most viewed streamer, with the occasional exception. But no one is getting like 5,000 views that is doing racing games only. It's a fair strategy considering... Takedown mechanic in this game is so boring. Especially it comes from EA, right? If you played Burnout, you cannot put into words how boring the takedown is in this game. So you just unlocked a new area, you took down the bosses, but before you can do that, you have to take down the goons. The worst storytelling I've ever seen. Okay. Some of the worst storytelling I've ever seen. You know, the way I see it, I think I'm pretty much at a glass ceiling with the content that I make. But I do very much believe if the world finally manages to make a somewhat decent racing game, that I could start growing more. But it really needs like a new game that people enjoy playing. Hold the gun, shoot him! You know, my personal problem is just that the next Need for Speed might be really far down the line, right? In my personal opinion, the earliest is 2 years from now. I don't think they can finish next Need for Speed next year, and even if they would compete against GTA 6. So I don't think that's a good idea. It's better they spend an extra year on development, make the game bigger and better, but even that might be too early, you know? You know, I'm assuming they're gonna keep working on Unbound, and whenever they're done with Unbound, that's when the development for the next Need for Speed will start. Right, so far they promised Volume 9 for Need for Speed. It's also gonna be during the 30-year anniversary, so that's happening. And then we'll see if we get a Volume 10, 11, 12, or maybe another year. 10, 11, 12, 13, one for each quarter, possible. Probably comes down to like how many people started playing Unbound. I know more people played Unbound once they released the updates. Question is, does it warrant another year of Unbound updates, or is it better to move on to the next game? The next game must fuck or it's over. I kinda agree. They really wanna bring their A game for the next Need for Speed game. But you're right. Going back to Tedious Holocron, the only way this game could have disappointed me more would have been microtransactions. Like, I actually have to agree with that statement. Yeah. The handling is actually not that bad. It's actually nice, you know? I can play Tedious Holocron without complaining about the handling model. Okay, one caveat. Because you have to turn down the dead zone to 0. Thing is, if you're playing racing games, I guess, on the right analog stick, then it doesn't make that much of issues. Shouldn't have too many problems if you have stick drift on the right hand side. But yeah, that's why I got myself a stick drift less controller. Peak of Need for Speed. Well, everyone has their own opinion about this, especially when it's the ironic peak of Need for Speed. Usually goes towards Shift or 2015. Nitro is actually not that bad. It's not that special, but it's not that bad. I'm not sure how good EA looks nowadays, but they're not doing as badly as Ubisoft, that's for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if Ubisoft buys Nacon. Alright, French company isn't worth that much money. You know what the problem is with executives? They all think they're the smartest people in the world. Right? They basically, you know, trick themselves into believing they can't do wrong. And that's why you have a bunch of executives doing like really stupid decisions that are really far away from what their customers actually want. You know, Tencent, if they buy Ubisoft, might fuck them more, but they will probably make a profit doing so. You know, if you take the Tencent monetization models that they are using, like, they make a profit. It makes the games definitely worse, for sure. Like, you might not like anything out of Ubisoft in the future, but they're probably gonna make a profit anyways. Sometimes I ask myself, what is the education that you need to have to become an executive at a gaming company? Like, what is the gauntlet that they want you to climb to get into that position? Because I've seen a lot of great executives. So I think Nintendo has really good ones. You know, if you think about Reggie or Shigeru Miyamoto or the guy that passed away, what was his name? The guy actually recoded Pokemon back then to make it fit onto the cartridge. Yeah, Satoru Iwata. Like, say what you want, but the Japanese seem really good there. At least on Nintendo's side. I'm not sure how Sony does it. Sony's doing pretty badly too. They're not doing much in their own IP department, really. But it's not like you can just buy yourselves into the position, but you definitely want to have money so you can talk to the right people. Because I'm convinced I could talk myself into an executive position if I would talk to the right person. I guess it's more about like being in the right spot at the right time, talking to the right people. Because whenever I see certain executives in their position, they never really worked in that area. They were an executive somewhere for something else, but they have a skill set, but they don't really have the understanding of what gamers actually want, in my opinion. And, you know, regardless of my opinion, you see certain companies failing, and then you're like, yeah, we know why. we didn't get what we wanted, so we didn't buy the game. Fuck them. Yeah, I wonder what EA would be doing if their football game wouldn't make so much money. But you have like giant ass streamers like, you know, I Show Speed gambling on FIFA or Football Club on stream. Like, football is crazy big. I find that very interesting too. Like, people play football games. Not too many people play F1 games. And F1 is huge as well, right? F1 is a huge sport. But the F1 games are fairly unspectacular. Not many people playing it, not many people watching F1 content if it's game-based. Playing F1 is stressful as fuck. Yeah, it can be fun though. I think it's a good kind of stress. Would you like some Need for Speed characters to return like your Reza and Darius? Sure. I feel like good actors can always come back. No! Oh god, I have to do it again, don't I? Why does it have to crash here, man? Of all the spots where it can. No, I have to do it again because the game does not autosave. Bullshit! It saves after you pick the car. Yes, we're doing that again. The HD reflections look fantastic in both this game and Pro Street. I gotta say, I'm missing a little bit the hype from September. I genuinely think that Twitch needs to do more stuff like this to make streaming an easier, way to make money. Right? I'm not having any financial troubles, but I definitely have earned more in the past. And, that's a bit demotivating if I'm like 100% honest. When you used to be at a certain income and then you have to basically accept, okay, I'm earning less now. Because, I don't know about you guys, but when you're building something, you always want it to get bigger and better. So if it doesn't do that for a while, it hits differently. Viewership is way up, that's great. The way I see it, when the viewership is way up, that, long term it's gonna get better again. You have to see the bigger picture. It's all part of the plan. Twitch's plan? Sometimes I swear Twitch has no plan. I mean, Twitch also let go a lot of their employees. Time to VTube. So first I need to sell my camera. Actually, you need a camera anyways for the VTubing motion capture, right? But yeah, VTuber actually took the new sub record as well. During September, making a charity marathon. Iron Mouse is her name. It's pretty clever. She only gave away 50% to charity. So half of 400,000 subs is still a pretty good income. I was thinking next year, instead of doing a racing marathon, I might make it a racing subathon. Because I don't want the event to go on so long. I would rather have like a shorter but more exciting event. That's my idea for next year. Especially because I want to change things up a little. Let's see one faster. Well, I don't think fast enough is the problem. It's more grippy enough so you don't hit anything. Dude, that guy's hiding perfectly behind the traffic car. The weird thing is, Carmen can escape the player. It would make so much more sense if Carmen could just escape from them without us failing the mission. Right? If she drives away from the thugs, we did our job, right? What do you think? Someone's ramming you at 200 miles per hour. Don't think he's here to cuddle. You can actually look super nice in 240 FPS. The Black Box games definitely deserve this kind of smoothness. I think the mod hard-coded... Rip. How long is this cutscene? Oh god, these bastards. Man, the autopilot cutscene fucked me over. Okay, spoiler alert. She's a med student.
I've been so scared.
Why even deal with all this shit? Like, they always pretend in video games like they have enough time to live 2 lives. I have barely enough time to live 1 life. I might need to do the mission again. Maybe not, maybe it's saved. I think we're good. Yeah, the mod does crash from time to time. Somebody said if you 4 GB patch the game exits, but... What the fuck was that? Also, shoutouts to the audio balancing team of Undercover. No, not the challenge series. There's a specific original version of Undercover that you have to use, but you don't get access to the challenge series. Challenge series isn't that interesting in this game. It's fairly basic. You know the event stop that you do in the career mode? You'll do them again with specific cars. I actually am not sure about the timeline. I think the game got patched and they accidentally removed the challenge series that way. I think that's how it went with Undercover. We need a specific update to have a working version of the challenge series. Yeah, I think it's not broken on the console versions, but on the PC version it is. So the events with this camera really comes in handy. You know, when Twitch actually had September 50% gift subs for the entire month. We hit our maximum sub goal of 10,800. We've never beaten that again. And I'm one of very few channels that ever got to 10,000 sub points to unlock 16 mod slots. And it all happened during Need for Speed Undercover. Crazy, crazy times, man. And the FOV is too high. Yeah, the thing is the FOV changes as you go faster. So if you go on the highway, you get these mega zoom. You actually do a lot better. Look how tame it is in the HUD cam. I'm not even sure I want to try to escape here. In the middle of nowhere. Like, they kind of forgot to put pursuit breakers in this area. I don't have the nerve to escape in the middle of nowhere. It's not fun enough. The cutscenes of getting busted is more fun than trying to escape. Okay, so here's what I mean. You take out this roadblock and then there's nothing until you're back in the city. Or you take the other direction and there's nothing until you get here. Terrible, terrible game design. Escape in 3.5 minutes. I know. The oversized car models plus making them heavier makes them less fun than, let's say, Most Wanted. By quite a big margin too. Dude, how long does it take to get to the fucking city? Yeah, escape events are no fun. Especially in this region. You just shouldn't go here. Hey, look at the minimap. Keep spawning. Oh no. That's not gonna work. Exit. Oh. Wrong exit. Hey, this time it's fair because it didn't say exit event. Like, the option wasn't even available because it was a cop chase. Alright, we're not gonna do escape cop shit anymore. It's just a waste of time. The rage quit button, yeah. 2 Kurus in the race. Might have gotten a shout out. Yeah, he's in a golf too. Mr. KuruHS. He's fast too, man. Already know the golf is better. Setting out Ufa porn at the space, seeing who answers. Ouch. To be fair, cops are not gonna be nice to you. So I feel like these busted cutscenes are actually fairly realistic. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm missing a game I can nerd out on. I think the last time I was really nerding out on a game was Horizon 4. Do you remember another game other than Horizon 4 that I played for months since then? Like, since Horizon 4 released, was there any other game that I played for months? Heat. I guess Heat, yeah. Must have been Heat. Wouldn't it be easier for an undercover cop to steal a cop car? Right? Like, that doesn't really prove anything. Also, the cost to state makes no sense in this game. Like, you total R35, you make 3,600. Come on, really? What's the Giga Chat currency?
Come on, let me at him. Hey, he makes one wrong move, he's yours. Till then, he's mine.
I mean, they kinda suspect you to be an undercover cop for whatever reason. To increase the tension of the video game. I think they actually buffed this game that you can actually hide in the hiding spots, yeah. You don't have to drive into the hiding spots. That speeds us up quite a bit. I was told this is the run handling, but honestly it feels so similar to the Need for Speed Most Wanted handling. Is there a way to tell for sure? It's definitely the run handling model? Alright, cool. Because I think that's gonna be my title. That's gonna be my title for YouTube. Need for Speed Undercover with the run handling. The run handling in Need for Speed Undercover. It's amazing. It does feel really good. But I cannot agree. I cannot agree on calling it the run handling because the input delay was way higher in the run. That's why I was afraid to test the run handling myself last time, because I expected it to have a shit ton of input delay. Losing it. Dude, how are we gonna get this? Might want to do a different event first until I have a faster car. Getting kind of wrecked here. Quit event. That's the option we're looking for. And then the game crashes. God damn it. Honestly, I think Need for Speed 1 is the hardest. At least the one that I've always been playing. I have a really hard time getting first place in that game. See, way better road layouts than Carbon. I actually go really fast here. If you combine it with the run handling or the Most Wanted handling, you're gonna have a really good time. Just don't use the original game's handling, or alerts, and it's gonna be quite more entertaining. Also straight lines. Yeah, but it's quickly. So it's fun to find Apex at high speed. Shut up, nipple. That'd be so funny. Just like Croc, you know. Crawl. Just say his name wrong. Shut up, nipple. Dude, that second car out of nowhere. Fucking hell, man. What is this shit? Where did this guy even come from? Just realized how fast we got over the highway. The event doesn't even have 4 minutes. Aha. Well, to be fair, my 80 hours...
Vehicle's still mobile.
It's not. Fuck the chopper. This was definitely a game, yeah. That's what you can say about it. But you might notice that the game does not look as terrible as it used to. And the handling also kinda looks normal. Two of the biggest concerns that I always had with this game, thanks to the Reformed mod. It basically has the handling of the Run. You might have noticed there's also a car. Hey, if you forgot how the game looks on stock, I think that's a good thing. I do think that's a good thing. Oh, I hated the game when it came out. Oh, nice wheelie there. Definitely a shift from the normal Need for Speeds. I mean, here's the thing. If they would have, you know, actually treated it as a departure, as a side project, and still made other Need for Speed games, would have been less frustrating. But EA basically had the choice between, oh, do we have a yearly Need for Speed or not? So let's just give another studio Need for Speed. But at the same time, you know, they basically just overburdened Blackbox with titles to make. Holy shit. So they couldn't work on regular Need for Speed. Like, EA really just slayed, is that a word? Slew? The cash cow. Sacrificed the golden egg-laying duck. But, you know, nowadays at least I can admit, you know, with a few fixes, Shift gets better, you know, kind of like Pro Street. But Shift really threw away everything that was Need for Speed, you know, at least if you think back to Pro Street, at least it still had bosses and, you know, the rivalry going with a big nemesis. Right, like, throwing away those elements, in my opinion, was not the right thing to do. Funnily enough, they kinda brought it back with Shift 2, where you actually had some bigger opponents to work towards. But yeah, I totally agree, the handling in Shift wasn't the most fun. I generally think that was also the problem with Pro Street. Trying to convert the arcade races of Need for Speed to sim racing, that was the big mistake if you ask me. Sense of speed handling was weird. Yeah, but in my opinion, handling is the biggest part of any racing game. Before the story, before the graphics, how do the cars handle? And I think a good example is iRacing. Right, iRacing nailed the handling for sim races, and the graphics aren't that good, but nobody cares, right? Like, people love iRacing. You gotta get the handling right. The handling is the non-plus-ultra when it comes to racing games. If you fuck up the handling, everyone's gonna be mad at you. A racing game where the racing isn't good, why should we buy it? Right? For example, I see very few people complaining about the handling in TDU, and I agree, that game has a decent handling model. It gets a bit wonky at high speeds. At high speeds, the car kind of becomes very, very floaty, but it's kind of necessary, otherwise you wouldn't have enough grip. But low to mid speeds, I would say TDU, the handling is perfectly fine. And suffers from the same problem as Forza Horizon, where all-wheel drive cars are just overpowered, and rear-wheel drive can suck some dick in the background, but it's not really competitive. So I can't blame it too much for it, because, you know, the most successful racing franchise right now is doing it too. But to be fair, that is just physics, right? Real life isn't much different. If you get an all-wheel drive electric car, it's gonna beat anything around the track. Would be interesting to see an all-wheel drive Formula 1 car. The thing is, it might not be necessary for Formula 1 cars because you have just so damn much grip and downforce. The way the tracks are built, you know. Maybe you can actually beat all-wheel drive. Simply because, you know, you don't have to put in all the extra weight and technology to get all-wheel drive working. But it would be interesting to see an electric Formula 1 car against a fuel-powered Formula 1 car. That would be a much fairer comparison new Vesol technology to the max. Yeah, I heard about four-wheel drive F1 cars in the past. You know, I was just thinking about, you know, modern F1 cars and all the extra weight that would go into a four-wheel drive system. And if you pull the camera back so much, you do get an intense sense of speed. You can tell by the FOV. You see this random circle in the sky because they never really made a skybox for that part, because you're not supposed to be able to see to this spot. Dude, what's up with the Carrera GT? Oops, sorry, man. Yeah, I really noticed when you hit the wall that the handling gets completely fucked. It kind of feels like for a second it gets the old handling back. But that's what I meant. Look at the nitros going straight in the air. How did they bug the Carrera GT, man?
Very dangerous.
In case you didn't take him seriously until now. Oh my cutscene lord, every time, dude. Can you fix this somehow? I wonder if you can fix this somehow. I assume you can't, because it always happens. But yeah, the map design in Undercover reminds me a lot more of Most Wanted than anything else. A lot of really wide open roads that allow you for some insanely fast driving and cool cornering. I think I would probably replace the skyboxes if you're using such a wide FOV so you don't get that weird circle on the top. You're sick of your 9-to-5 job. Tell me about it. But I feel like that's one of the responsibilities as an adult, to find a job that you can enjoy. Obviously, there's gonna be times in life where you're gonna have a job just so you can pay the bills, but you know, that's usually the moment where you should be looking for another job that you enjoy more. Because if you're already, you know, selling your time, might as well do it in some, you know, some kind of work that you actually enjoy doing. The reason why I jumped from one job to another was simply because I was trying to find something that doesn't bore me to death. I would not be surprised if I have some ADHD myself, considering, you know, how I need different stimuli on a regular basis or I just get fucking bored. You're trying to do the same shit? Yeah. That is my... No, I was about to say, like, it's my... Oh wait, I can show you a cool trick now. So, if you wanna repair your tires, go to graphics, go to cars, car damage, and we're gonna turn it on, then we're gonna turn it off. And then my wheels should be back to normal. And they are. Dude, there's way more cops than usual, what the actual shit. It's the hardest event in the game, feels like it. Also, this camera's really not helping. It zooms too far out. Taxi! The thing is, the spikes in this game have a really bad coloration. Like, they look like the ground. To be fair, real life wouldn't be much different, but for a video game, it's kinda annoying. If you can, you know, look past the flaws of a game and actually see the good parts, you can kinda tell this could have been the Most Wanted 2 going by the city. Oh, I way prefer this over Carbon's map. It's way better. Way more open, a lot faster, more fun to drive in my opinion. Carbon is a great city if you just want to drift. Which makes it even more sad that drifting wasn't actually part of the original Carbon. So those 3 times that I repaired my tires. James Bond technology. Outside of Palm Harbor, it feels more barren and empty. True. Especially when you have a cop chase in the mountains and there's like way too few pursuit breakers and no hiding spots. You can really tell that they didn't finish. That was, in my opinion, 100% more planned to make that part of the city more interesting. Or rather the part of the map. It does feel unfinished in a lot of the spots. If you're racing, it's fine. You have to deal with the cops, becomes extremely annoying. Not enough pursuit breakers or hiding spots. Ah, wait, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Hey. Wait, the cops disappeared? That's funny. They also restored my tires. Vortex, stop. Oh, that's a 3D wheel. Which is insane. Razor was the 15th guy on the blacklist. Does that mean that the Mustang was slower than almost stock Sonny's golf car? Yeah. Also, there's gotta be 2 more people on the blacklist because Ronnie and Bull were not even in the blacklist, right? And then they are 1, 2, 3 with Razor. So they obviously pushed out 2 more people Right, Razor pushed out the first one, and then another 2. Yeah, I watched Naruto and Shippuden. I like that, minus the fillers. Right now watching One Piece, Bleach. Boruto is a piece of shit, so I'm not watching that. You know, Boruto feels like the writers ran out of ideas. The thing is, I haven't really met anyone that is like, oh dude, Boruto was great, you're missing out. Like, not a single person. There are people that are like, yeah, watch Boruto, but I don't like it as much as Naruto. Is like the best I've heard. Most people are like, oh, it's so bad, I don't want to watch it. And some people are like, that's good enough to watch it, but it's not as good as the original. Honestly, I think I would have a lot more fun rewatching Naruto. Because I did forget a lot of the plot, so I wouldn't be surprised if rewatching it would be quite exciting, especially if you leave out shitty fillers. Boruto is like the fanfic. I mean, I don't even want to hate on it too much, you know. I just don't like it. I don't want to watch it. You know, it's like the Undercover to Most Wanted, right? Like, they're somewhat related as a Need for Speed game, but it's so much worse that you just can't get yourself to like it. You know what this round thing on the top reminds me of? The moon crashing down to Earth in Majora's Mask. Don't look up, man. Oh, the restart trick works in this game? Didn't know. Because it didn't work in Carbon, so I'm surprised it works in Undercover. But yeah, racing games are having a pretty bad time right now. But the recent releases were all very niche. Like, what are the recent racing games that I remember? CarX, TDU, Forza Motorsport, all of them extremely small communities. If I would recommend any new content creator, I would probably say just make GT7 content. That game seems to be most relevant, or maybe Assetto Corsa, BeamNG gets a lot of viewership on YouTube. Yes, definitely playing GTA 6. BeamNG is AI TTS, yeah, absolutely. Like, there's some really bullshit dogshit content out there, but people are watching it. That's the crazy part, right? Like, people will watch this automated generated shit. Yeah, Emerald for sure, but they're still not gonna get, you know, big viewerships, right? Like, those are small games. Like, those are all, you know, games that were made for niches, right? Those are like the minigame racing games. It's a weird thing about the interface. I don't think it's super obvious that the car doesn't have NOS. My opinion, it should be grayed out if it doesn't have NOS. Kind of nice having a hiding spot at the event finish. Do I like the look of the LFA? I don't like spoilers that are basically a cutout, right? That are basically a cutout from here to here, and they're like really square, small spoilers. The same look is also in the KuruHS GT, and I don't like it. I need a bigger spoiler on my car. Have fun, G-Mate. Hit her. But yeah, this fourth spoiler looks really bad on the car. I should check if we can find something better. This default spoiler is really bad. Take them all down. This is where we get back to the terrible storytelling of Undercover, where you take out the goons after you took out the bosses. Instead of taking out the goons, so you can actually get access to the bosses. Right, that would make sense. I might just wait here anyways. Because the cop is probably gonna be in the hideout there. Dude, I wonder if he's gonna jump into my face. It's too slow though. He would have jumped in my face, man. There he is. Holy crap.
You'll never pin this on me.
GG! Well, we took Chase out and recovered the missing evidence. You know, usually she screams when you break her car. Woohoo, free car. Stop crashing on me, man. Stupid as game. Either way, big shout out everyone. Thanks for the follows. Check out our sponsors if you haven't already, right? Let's have more tomorrow, right? I'll see you fresh tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central European Summertime. That was the wrong button. Ah.